webinar. I hope that you understand that I'm not the expert in these areas, but certainly that's my goal, to be one. And also my experience with these tools has been one of actually putting hands-on experience, because we were offered in the spring to recertify and use both tools. So it was actually quite an experience to learn about the tools and how to use them. So I'm going to do my best to share with you tonight this little outline that I created, and then I hope at the end that we can take some questions. These are amazing tools to enhance your coaching experience, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about them, and then if I miss anything, I think you're going to answer me, ask the questions at the end. So there are foundational values behind each of these tools. Taylor Protocols is the company that created the Core Value Index. Lynn Taylor is the owner and creator. The Taylor Protocols actually worked for 25 years to reorganize companies from top to bottom in some cases. And what they found in this experience is that all business problems are people problems, and that often it's because the right person is not in the right seat, or conversely, the wrong person is in the seat. So, and so the outcome is the Core Value Index. It's an amazing test that only takes about 10 minutes. And I'm going to just share with you something. Lynn Taylor also wrote the book The Choices. And you can find that, of course, on Amazon. But he asserts in his writings that we are naturally urgent about learning who and what we are, so we can be useful to others, so we can be accepted, cared for, and valued by our society. The Core Value Index, for those of you who've maybe taken Myers-Briggs or the ISC test, those are personality profiles. The Core Value Index measures our innate core values. That's what we came into this world with, and it's with 94% accuracy. So when a person takes the Core Value Index, we'll talk about how the report comes to them, and it's impressive amount of information with a 10-minute test. The Career Development System is an umbrella system that includes the I have this little flashing thing on my screen.
Yeah, I would just say next time, Kathy, instead of hitting the X, hit one of the arrows on the left, where it'll say accept. What happens is, just the technical side, because I am, what's happening is when you're on a GoToMeeting, it wants to limit the number of colors that display to make it the best presentation it can make.
And I can't find it again to get rid of it permanently.
No, it'll come up again, and this time don't hit the X, just hit.
So the Career Development System was created by Dr. Paul Rand, and as a component of that is the Improved Employee Soft Skills Test. Dr. Rand tells us that well-being requires that you understand your life purpose or vision, your long-term needs, including mind, body, spirit, and heart, and align your short-term needs, which is physical, occupational, social, mental, and physical activities, to ensure that your well-being, you will achieve well-being through the good times and the bad. Okay, there we go. I think I got rid of it. So it's the point for me, as I dug into both of these tests, it's really all about self-actualization, which is what we do in coaching. Both tests have these values behind them that expect that their information that is acquired through these testing vehicles will help people learn more about themselves, be more confident, and enhance their well-being and their employment choices. So, as I said, the Improved Employee Test is an integral part of the Career Development System, which I'll spend some time talking about in a few minutes. So the core value index test is a brief test measuring your innate core values, including your dominant, secondary, and tertiary core values. Now, this is an amazing over 25-page report that actually takes apart who am I, where am I vulnerable, and why. It identifies learning styles and conflict strategies. It's all reported in very positive psychology. And Lynn Taylor has trademarked the builder, merchant, innovator, banker, and those are the 4 quadrants of the test. And each of those has a supporting value. So I'm a builder, and my supporting value is faith. I have faith that if I drive an idea home, that it's going to work. And so one of the ways, I just have to do a little commercial, one of the ways that you can read more about the core values is to look up Dr. Lynn Taylor's book on Amazon, and as you hover over the book, as in many cases with other books on Amazon, you can see a whole breakdown of the information about those 4 quadrants that I'm talking to you about today. So the report, as I said, is in positive psychology with graphs and detailed explanation of each section, so it literally breaks it apart. When applied, it's in part to get the right person in the right seat, as I said earlier. But I'm going to talk to you later about how it has so much other value than just from the employer's perspective. It has extreme value to the individual and to the coach. So the Improved Employee Soft Skills Test, the IE, as I said, is a component of the overall career development system. It's a brief test, again, which is over 90% effective and measures a person's soft skills, characteristics, primary and secondary key strengths, value to the company, career strengths, decision-making, leadership, and motivation, communication, goal setting, and creativity. When you're a coach, you sign in to the IE system, and you actually, or an HR person, can actually get, once you sign up and create an account, you actually, anyone who you give the link to do the IE becomes part of your little information system. So you can get a coaching report. There's opportunity within that system to have several people who may be on a team take the test, and you can see exactly which core values need to be matched on that team for the team to be effective. So the IE is an initial evaluation done in the career development system, and is a critical piece of the foundation for the construction of what's called the MAP and the modern resume. And I'm just going to spend a little time on that so that you understand what a valuable part of that system the IE is. So to give you an example, one of the forward-thinking ideas that has been promoted by SLA and Dr. Paul Rand and Barbara is the use of the career development system for our veterans. Just think of a normal resume. It's a lot about where you worked and what organizations you belong to and a bunch of just brief bullet points. The majority of resumes don't even get through the scanning software to the source that it's intended. So what Dr. Rand has done here with this career development system, by having the soft skills then are utilized to help the individual while applying the system to create what's called a MAP, which is Mastery, Autonomy, and Purpose. That's what the acronym stands for. And the MAP is a series of components that create where the individual and with the coach creates a vision statement, talks about SMART goals, creates timelines, and in effect creates a strategy for their education and future development, as well as perhaps promotion or career choice. And the third piece of that triad is the modern resume. Now, Dr. Rand has done a lot of empirical research, and this resume approach gets through the scanning software by approximately 80%, which is a big, big opportunity. So in the case of the veterans, as example again, veterans would, on the old resume system, would perhaps put down that they had 4 years of active duty. Instead of using their the abilities that they learned and the skills that they learned in the military, they may have been in logistics, they may have been in some kind of mechanics, they've done some leadership. And so what the IE does for someone like that is it would help them identify specifically the strengths. So they talk about the soft skills, the characteristics. Are they persistent? Are they logical? And they go on to key strengths. Do they have the ability to do tough assignments? And so once that aspect of the evaluation is done and the career map is, or the MAP is created, then the person is now armed with a lot of information that can be articulated both on the modern resume and through an interview process. And in the modern resume process, the person actually looks at 3 or so jobs from a particular employer and takes their soft skills and describes within the resume what they have and how that value can bring value to the particular jobs that they're looking for. Now, it's much more technical than that because you're extracting a word or two from the job description to complete your sentence about your soft skills, and in which case that third component of the modern resume can be modified for various different jobs that you might apply for. So it's a very scientific process, and it's one that yields amazing results. So given this day and age where we have so many people without jobs, and the priority for many people is just to grab anything that can make them money instead of to really help them self-actualize, help them find the seat, the right role that can help them develop themselves and enhance their well-being. So the value of these tools to a company, from the employer's view, they may use them to screen new applicants or candidates for promotion to align them with the right position, which would be positive. They may be used to develop successful, cohesive, productive teams. They may increase the bottom line and productivity of the company. In fact, not may, it's extremely likely when you have a large number of people within your employ that they would be in the right seat, doing the right role based on their innate core values and their soft skills. They are going to be very productive. We know that the engagement of employees in terms of studies done on employee satisfaction today is over 50% of employees feel disengaged. And there's a number of factors that play into that, but certainly not being placed in the right role and allowed to use their soft skills and play out their core values in that role is one of the factors. So the value to the individual is that they validate, and again, this is an experience I'll share with you in a few minutes, but when you see the core value index and you see the reports, which are also very extensive with respect to the IE, you go over them with the employees, and it validates them extremely regarding their values and their strengths. Many people will react by saying, well, I always thought that, but now I know it. And it makes a difference in terms of how they look at their job roles and themselves in those job roles, and maybe how they would look at what type of certification or advanced education that they might need to continue on the path that has been validated through these tools. It gives them a confidence in the appropriateness of a new job or a promotional opportunity. Again, many people, I was a labor advocate, employee labor advocate, and a chief negotiator for many years, advocating for employees. And so often we would get an employee that was having difficulty, and we would engage with the human resources, and where there was, you know, mutual cooperation, we would often transfer the employee to another role. And almost 90% of the time that change was successful. And rather than terminating the employee or otherwise disciplining the employee out, we were able to find a role that suited them better. And so with this information that you get on the IE and the CVI, it could be eminently clear about that employee was best served and the company was better served having that employee in a role that suited those strengths. So individuals have an increased ability, and again I reference the veterans, they have an increased ability to articulate their skills, strengths, and value toward a role, rather either in writing or through the modern resume or verbally in the interview, which is very important. You know, there are many companies now that do interview skills and help to try to prepare people what to say and how to present themselves. So if a person has the confidence because they've been tested, they in fact are better suited to you know, effectively verbalize that to a prospective employer. And they definitely have clarity of purpose in life and in work. And that manifests itself in many positive ways for people when they know that they are choosing a role that is consistent with what they've been tested in their innate core values. It's very impressive, and I'll again share my example a little bit later on. So the value to the coach. In my opinion, the coach has the ability to establish a clear picture of the client at the time of the initial interview. Now, of course, this assumes that you've used both the tools on the employee, and that maybe the first or second session you're sitting with them, and it could be an HR person, I suppose, could use this too, but your interview and your initial assessments that you do with the client and the questioning that you do can be enhanced for both of you when you have these tools that you can review with each other and discuss and apply to the issues that the client has identified that they would like to work on, and how they have rated their different aspects of their life and where they see themselves reaching into. And I think it can, in my case, my experience, the clients that I've used it on have changed their mind about what they said they wanted to work on once they saw the core value reports and the IE reports. So it's also an opportunity for the coach and the client to get creative with the client's plans and goals due to the confirmations afforded by the test. When a person sees, again, in a positive terminology, their strengths and their challenges, you know, if they're being honest with themselves, they then can think about ways and opportunities that they can enhance those strengths, or in cases where there might be challenges, again, apply for further education or look at other resources that they might utilize to expand on that information. It increases definitely the confidence of the client in themselves, their direction, and the coach. And I want to say just a little bit here about this. I am interested in trying to work regularly with these tools, and I also feel very clear that when the client sees that you're using tools that have been empirically tested, that have such clear results that they can resonate with, it increases their confidence in the coach as well, in my opinion. It shows that you are looking to dig deeper, to look for every opportunity to help enhance their experience and help them self-actualize. So it allows the client to set clear intentions for their strategy and vision, and I get you have a peek at my little story here. And because when I said that, I realized that that is the story for me, this next client. Her name is Giselle Hazan de Camacho, and Giselle is a young woman who I came to know. We were both aligned with the same organization and became friends. And Giselle had gotten her law degree in Panama. That's her country of origin. Her dad's a labor attorney there, and she did some litigation and some other types of law, real estate law, for about 3 years. And then she came to the United States for a period of 12 years. During that time, she got married, and she pursued a master's degree in international business. And then, you know, our country has a lot of immigration issues, so I won't go into what happened there, but she got an opportunity to work with a firm through a colleague who contacted her and said that there was a firm opening up who has offices in the Isle of Jersey outside of the UK and Cape Town, South Africa. And this firm was interested in opening an office to begin to help bring companies to Panama and otherwise in Central and South America. So it was an amazing opportunity. And, you know, after considering it with her husband, she determined to go. So she left in June of this year, but just after she left, actually, I was doing my recertification, and she agreed to be one of my practice clients and use both tools. And being that she loves education and learning new things. And so Giselle and I made a plan to utilize the tools as she began to meet with her senior partner from South Africa, was coming to Panama, and of course greeting her, starting her new job, and they were having lunch and kind of going over all the rudimentary things. And we determined that we would use these tools to help her present herself to her senior partner. And so I began to help Giselle look at these from her advantage, from her point of view, rather than certainly from her superior's point of view. And based on her core value index, was one aspect that was very clear, and that was that she did not enjoy conflict. So having that validation, she was very confident in making the decision that she was going to indicate to her superior that she would prefer to pursue corporate law rather than you know, other types of litigation and acrimonious types of lawyering. So in addition, there were other aspects of her core value index that supported that, her attention to detail, and of course her soft skills. It was exactly the same. They often complement each other. She loves tough assignments. She prefers to operate under controlled circumstances. These were some of the comments on her. She takes a logical approach to decision making. So this was all concurred by her core value index and her soft skills report. So what we did is we took the coach's soft skill report that I got on the back end of the IE, and I modified it by taking out anything that would be detracting for her. And she took it with her to the interview. In addition, what we did is when we created her map, we talked about what she wanted to do in her job role and in her new life returning to Panama. And she wanted to help the Panamanian people, you know, continue their development and certainly make it be supportive to companies who wanted to start businesses there, which would advantage the Panamanian people with respect to employment. And we talked about how, because she was new in the area of corporate law, that she could get perhaps a retired judge as a mentor. We talked about what the types of things that corporations need to know when they come into Panama. Panama has a lot of laws that are very employee supportive. So we thought that maybe she would be helpful in creating either a teaching module or a brochure for the companies to identify the tax laws and employment laws and any other aspects of a business that would be helpful to new employers considering to relocate into Panama. She actually recognized that she needed training and perhaps considered further education. And of course, given my relationship with Strategic Learning Alliance, I encouraged her to think, rather than go into academia, to consider getting a coaching certificate in an area of leadership or perhaps negotiations or whatever. And so we created a training outline of things that she needed to achieve and the type of support that she needed from the employer in order to achieve that. And she set a goal of being able to take on clients independently after her probation at 3 months. So there was much more to it, but there's a YouTube video that Barbara and Paul Rand have created that's down at the bottom here on the right that you can take a look at her as a case study. But the thing I want to tell you about the outcome is that she called me and said it was only 2 months, and they called her in the office and they said, you know, we can't wait. We think you're great. We don't want to wait for the end of your probation, so we're going to pass your probation right now. And when she had the interview with her superior, she expressed to me how organized and how confident and how professional she felt by being able to say to an employer, this is how I'm best communicated with. I'm a detail-oriented person. Here's this soft training outline. I'd like your feedback. It just showed that she was self-initiative, that she was confident, and I think that was why they responded to her in the way they did by passing her probation earlier. So that's really it. I can't imagine why anyone would not want to use these tools, and when you begin to use them on yourself, which I think is helpful, you begin to take it apart and really see the value for the clients that we have, and certainly value to the employer as well. And I'm happy to take any questions, and I hope, Barbara, you will chime in also to answer any questions that I may not have the answer to.
Okay, I have a serious background noise over here. So let me see. Right now I'm going to check for questions.
Yeah. Do you want me to close down the screen a little bit?
Oh, no, it's fine. The screen's fine. In fact, you know what would be fun is if you click the link and we got to see the video.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, share the video. I would like feedback on the video, too, if anybody would like to do that. That'd be great.
Career Development System created by Dr. Paul Rand, presented by Strategic Learning Alliance, October 2014. Career Development System. Over 89% of individuals that were coached through the Career Development System gained employment within 30 days of engagement. Meet SLA's Certified Professional Coach, Kathleen A. Carr, CPC. Meet Coach Kathleen's client, Giselle Hassan de Camacho. In June 2014, Giselle accepted a position as an associate in a new office for Hatstone Abogados in Panama City. Giselle, born in the Republic of Panama, received her law degree and began working as a lawyer in 2004. 3 years later, she moved to the United States, where she worked as a paralegal and earned a master's degree in international business. In June of 2014, Giselle accepted a new position in Panama with a company called Hatstone. Coach Kathleen helped Giselle prepare for her first meeting with her new superior. Even though Giselle was just beginning with Hatstone, she felt she deserved more than she settled for when she took the job. Coach Kathleen reports, my client Giselle took the 2 assessment tests as directed in the Career Development System. We were able to leverage both assessment reports towards her desire for a promotion. Giselle reported that the core values assessment was a confirmation for her as it identified her preference to avoid conflict. Giselle was able to use that information to enable her to articulate and employ new negotiating skills with confidence, and she made a decision to pursue corporate law in her new position. From the soft skills report, Kathleen and Giselle created a personal map for her new position. The map included goals such as obtaining a retired judge as a mentor, creating a training schedule that she'd present to her superior that would allow her to identify areas of training and support needed from the firm's leadership and facilitate her achievement of an independent client list within 3 months. We provided the superior with a copy of the soft skills report to enable her to discuss them with Giselle. Giselle identified potential areas where she needed additional education and stated that the assessment reports and the personal map gave her a clear direction, enabled her to set an intention, and confirmed for her that she is pursuing her passion of solving legal challenges. She utilized all the information to set the stage for a successful entry into her new role by communicating her strengths with her superior in advance. She was able to share the manner in which she performed successfully, how she best receives communication, her dedication to detail, and all before she actually began the job. In addition, the MAP process enabled her to articulate a plan of training and her intended achievements with her superior. Coach Kathleen received a call from Giselle only 2 months after her start date. The superiors were so pleased with her that they shortened her probation period by 1 full month and gave her an increase in her compensation after only 2 months of employment. SLA's career development system works. It's been proven over and over again. Keep a lookout for other case studies brought to you by Strategic Learning Alliance.
Excellent. Now I don't know how to get back to the other thing, but we'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can just minimize. There you go. That's great.
Okay.
So it looks like we do have a question or a comment here. It says,
okay.
Luann is asking if she did a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. I guess she thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if you can give me her email, I'll send it.
Okay. Yeah, Luann, do you want to put in the chat box where you would like it emailed to? That would be great. All right, thanks for that. Luann was apparently having a hard time hearing you. I have a headset on, so I did not have any problem hearing you at all, so I don't know if anybody else did. But that was really a great presentation. Thank you so much. So that video kind of, what do you call it, captured what you, I guess, kind of what you thought, right? I mean, what you,
yeah.
Everything that you said in your presentation.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the story continues. I think the other part that we haven't stated is that once people, what I encourage the people that I've worked with to do is to bring out those results maybe every couple of months and take a look at them and kind of renew their commitment or see where they are, kind of take a soft measurement of how they've achieved things, and again, to reinforce that they're on the right track.
Yeah, that's brilliant, because you think about it, when we're using our vision statements, we are doing things at twice the pace, at least twice the pace that we normally would. When we say, well, I think I can get that done in a year, and we have a coach and we listen to our vision statement, it just unfolds before our very eyes.
Right.
And it takes usually half the time that we think it's going to take, which is really amazing. It's amazing to see, and I've seen it over and over again with people that have gotten back to us 6 months after they've taken the class, looked at their vision statement and go, dang, it's 80% done already, or or whatever. And usually by the time a year is done, that's when we get the phone calls and goes, oh my God, I was looking at my vision statement and every part of it is done. Every part of it, every word, like, yeah, it's really cool how it works. It's wonderful. So, and these tools work really great too. So I want to thank you so much for
You're welcome.
sharing with us how they work, and or how they worked for you, or how you were able to use them to empower somebody to take a really strong foothold in her job, and then impress them so much that they gave her that job security after, and all.
Well, the other point is she's indicated that the learning that she needs to do about the Panamanian tax laws and employment, review all the employment laws, it's very tedious, very time-consuming, and because she's made tactical goals and timelines for herself, she is challenged to achieve what she's said that she was going to do, and I think it just motivates the individual to stay on course.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I agree. It really helps you stay on track with everything. Absolutely.
And it's an element of accountability, the map and the tools, reviewing the tools. It's and when you're coaching someone, it's important to keep revisiting that because it's a part of the resources for accountability.
Absolutely. It's really fabulous, the tools that we have in this, I'm going to date myself, this day and age. Because, it's, when you think about all of this, I mean, just it wasn't that many years ago that, well, now I'm really dating myself, that we didn't have PCs, laptop computers, our desktops and what they were, and just in such a short period of time through the information age, the internet developed. Everybody's got a PC. Now everybody's got a smartphone. And our communications are happening so much faster. Our technology is growing so fast. Our understanding of the brain and of the mind is growing so much. It's just like we are learning so much about, I was talking about the brain and my classes. So those of you that have been through the Certified Professional Coach class, you remember hearing about the brain and they're calling it, oh God, there's a name for it. It's like the elasticity of the brain is very important, and you can get your brain to be to keep growing and being more engaged and learn in different ways. And there's websites that have puzzles that you can look at too that will really make you think. And then they're not like making you think like, theoretically or hypotheses or anything like that. It's just, for example, they had a screen where they had red, white, blue, and writing on top. And the writing said red, white, blue, green, and the colors were red, white, blue, green, which was really easy to read. But then they changed the next row to have the word of the color in a different color. And it was really hard to read the word of the color when you were looking at green and to read red. And then you look at red to read blue, and then you look at white to read green. I mean, it's like, it made you think. It wasn't like you went, oh, red, white, blue, green, and then, oh. No, you had to, it took a pause, So anyway, there's great things that can help with this. Okay, it looks like we got a question from Nia. I'm going to unmute you, Nia. Anybody else that would like to share, I will unmute you. Nia, go ahead and speak. I think we can hear you. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me? Oh, okay. I just wanted to know if either you or Kathleen can send us the YouTube link. I tried to do a search for it, but it doesn't come up in the search.
Oh.
So I was wondering if the email, can you email us the link?
Yeah, let's see if, you know what, let me go see if I can get it from, yeah, hold on just a second. I'm going to go see if I can get it. And if I can get it that easily, then I'll just put it in the chat box, and then you guys can click it, and then you'll have it. So that would be really convenient. Let's see if I can make it happen. Okay. Okay. Well, while I'm looking for that, does anybody have any other questions about anything? Since we're all here, how did you? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh well, since you asked, I have another question.
Sure.
I noticed that in the member site, I'm looking for some webinars I had missed, and I noticed the member site hasn't been updated with the webinars.
Yeah, the member sites are all up to date. So if you click on the members menu, there's a place there where it will have the upcoming webinars and the archived webinars. Okay, I got the link. I'm going to put it into the chat box, and then you can go ahead and it should be accessible. Like if you click it, it should go ahead and launch your the video on your machine. So, or if you want to copy, you can click it and then save it or something. And Kathy, do you have another link that you'd like to share with everybody? We can put that in the chat box too.
Another link, you said?
Yeah. Do you have another link that you'd like to?
You were talking about that book that I mentioned to you earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that I've been doing to help promote my coaching career is to try to develop a platform, and been working with Brendan Burchard, who is he's really one of the highest paid motivational speakers in the world. He's got #1 podcast on iTunes, and he's a very generous man who gives a lot of stuff away for free. So he has I don't know if I can put it up. Can I? I just have to close this out, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
Hold on 1 minute.
Absolutely. You can share it.
He has a book that's coming out. I can't get the, here, let's close this down. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, here I am. He has a book that's coming out called, oh, there we go. It's called The Motivation Manifesto. So here's the link that you can go to. Hold on. Okay, it's called motivationmanifesto.com, and you can get the book for free. It's actually coming out October 28th, and it's an amazing, he's written the book The Millionaire Messenger, and the book called The Charge, which is also an extremely motivational book. But this is a compilation of a lot of his motivation information that covers a wide area. And so the book is free, but you pay $7 in shipping, and he has a little, what he calls an advanced course for $29 if you're interested, and it sends motivational videos to your home on a weekly basis for 12 weeks.
Well,
and you can download them or download them to either a PDF or an MP3. And it's really all about how we help people self-actualize, how we self-actualize ourselves. He's all about giving back, bringing the joy. I just was at a conference in Santa Clara called the Experts Academy. He believes that we are all experts in our own way, and he teaches you how to kind of package that information and share it with others, very much in line with Barbara's philosophy of bringing peace to the world by bringing your expertise and sharing it with others.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, all right.
He's got tons of YouTube videos, so I'm going to just put his name up there because that will help everybody. You can even go to his website and see what he does. He's met the Dalai Lama. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. He's met the Dalai Lama. He's really endorsed regularly by Larry King. I spelled it incorrectly. I'm going to do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, he tells a funny story how there's a protocol when you're dealing with royalty. So he was advised not to put his hand out when the Dalai Lama came by. But because he's ADD, he did anyway. And as the Dalai Lama went down the line to speak to each person and be greeted by each person, he would wrap a scarf around their neck. But because Brendan was so impulsive, he never did get his scarf. So it's just a cute little story. But I took this route to be motivated by this individual and learn all the aspects of online marketing and social media, and so that I could help develop my platform and get the word out there about what I have to offer to help people improve their lives. So, any other questions about that?
I don't have any questions about that, but it's awesome that you have invested in yourself and decided to get that training. And I believe Brendan is one of the most compassionate of those types of trainers out there. He has such a big heart, and he's such a compassionate man. So it's
well, and
awesome.
this is how, you know, he makes a point of saying that there's so many people making such great contributions and you don't even know their names. So a lot of people didn't know his name. But when I arrived at the seminar in Santa Clara last month, there were 750 people from over 40 different countries. People came as far from Bali and South Africa. Each morning and afternoon session, I always sat next to a neuroscientist from Mexico, and every person in that room was trying to learn the technical skills and the tactics and strategy to give something back to others. And that was what was most impressive to me, you know, in a world where we hear only negative messages on the news, to know that there's a whole world out there full of people that really want peace and they want to help people with various things. I met a veteran who got divorced while he was in Afghanistan and came home and got custody of his children and got remarried and had this blended family. And so he's writing a book and doing a training program for families who are blended. How do they communicate? Another woman was abused, a young woman, and she's formed a nonprofit to help young girls, teenage girls, learn to love themselves. It was just on and on and on of different wonderful, wonderful things that people are doing. And Brendan is the motivating factor for a lot of people to get their word out and learn how to navigate the whole website and sales pages and email marketing and all that stuff so that they can reach people.
Whoa, yes, I agree. So yeah,
that's your little guy.
Yeah, that's my little guy. So it gets brutal over here every so often. If they hear a dog outside bark, then they have to join the, you know.
You have to speak up. Well, I hope that people have gotten something out of this. I encourage everybody to really dig into these tools, read about them, try them, and see how, knowing the work that you do or the clients that you have, how that they can be applied, because I think you're going to get similar positive reactions that I am. Once people get that validation from a credible tool, the confidence is the motivator.
All right. Well, we did get a couple questions. Well, one comment is from May. She says, great presentation and video. And Christopher says, any thoughts on when you would use these assessments and when you would use a personality profile assessment?
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with a couple of personality profiles. I think that the difference, and maybe this will help answer the question, the difference between a personality profile or an emotional intelligence profile and these tools, at least the core value index, is the core value index doesn't change. The other tools, if a person took them 5 or 10 years later, you may see some variation in them because personalities are evolving and they get modified over time. Whereas these tools, if you take the tool yourself, you'll realize that this is who you really are. This is the real you. It's how you show up to the world. When you walk in the room, it's how you show up. And by understanding that, sometimes it can modify how you approach other people. The soft skills, I presume, and I'm not, I have no facts at the moment to support this, but I presume that it, like the personality profile, is evolving, you know, based on a person's work experience. I do know that I would give more credibility. I think that the issue for us is what type of clients are you working with? Are you working with a client that's just goal-oriented for a specific goal? Then maybe having information about their personality profile will help you to tighter a plan for them in a better way. But if you're looking in a broader way at your role with that client, is to help them to be all that they can be. And that could be on many levels. then the core value index and the IE are companion tools that help a person really look at that seriously for themselves and work with the coach to see, to help develop what that looks like on the tarmac, and how do they lift off with that, and how do they make changes in their life to align themselves with those things. You don't have to align yourself with your personality profile. But you do have to recognize that if you've shown up as a powerful person, or you've shown up as someone who is a creator, someone who likes to develop relationships in teams, those things are not going to change, no matter what work environment you're in, and they apply both socially and in relationships and in your work environment. So that's why I say it's kind of universal. You can apply it in any area. So I hope that helps.
I'm sure that was helpful. That was really great. Yeah, Christopher says thanks. Yeah, that was a really great question. And yeah, so core values has, I know that Seattle Research Partners has been testing that tool for over 10 years. So it's a tool that's been around for a long time, and the question you need to ask yourself, or the question I ask is, how come I never heard of it before, Strategic Learning Alliance, right? So it's such a powerful tool, and I would think has so much value and so many different applications for it that it's surprising that it isn't more well known. Like, I think everybody's heard of DISC, right? Here, just if you've heard of DISC profiling, go ahead and put a yes in the chat box just to see. Jocelyn says, thank you for the great presentation, and ask her, how does she integrate the map with CVI and IE?
Oh, that's really, actually what you do is, remember in the map, the person creates a vision. So having the information in their CVI about who they are and what they show up as and all of that helps them to develop their vision and in a very affirmative way. And then creating a direction, as I mentioned in the case with Giselle, creating a direction for what their work goals are, or maybe some other creative achievement, becomes very clear to them much sooner on because they've had the support of this information. So the map is really it's your roadmap. It's your and again, it is a tool that can be used for accountability as well, and identifying your SMART goals, and then identifying the timelines and what are the achievables and what resources that you need. All of that just presents more and more clarity. So you start with the foundation of the clarity with the IE representing their soft skills, which is really talks about what kind of a team player you are, what kind of roles that you thrive best in, what is your style of communication and things like that. And whereas the CVI is really all about that internal you, what drives you, what motivates you, what your conflict strategies are. Like in my case, it's funny, when I saw it, I thought, OMG, my conflict strategy, I spent 25 years as a chief negotiator for a labor union, and I'm a builder, which means I'm power. And my conflict strategy is intimidation. So I thought, how fitting, that's exactly what I do when I don't get my way at the bargaining table. I intimidate. So, it's something that people, it's just this different picture that people are able to view of themselves. And most of us don't have this really kind of objective view of ourselves like we might. And this certainly these tools really help that happen.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So you can get in minutes. I guess this is the main key for me, is that in minutes you can get to know your client better than most people would know them, really. you know somebody at their core and what their core values are, you know them pretty good. So you have them take this test and you know what their core values are. I mean, you're going to know that person so well. And you'll have the compassion, and you'll be able to be right there with them because you'll know them before you even start the conversation. I think it's really powerful.
Barbara, in hearing you say that, it brought something to mind to me.
Sure.
As I said to you earlier today, that one of the roles that I had as a chief negotiator in advocating for employees was that the law required that I fully and fairly investigate matters. So and one thing that I'm very well aware of is that when people are telling their story, they are not good historians. They don't tell things in a chronological way, and and they often leave things out, important things out, that once that piece is inserted, changes the whole picture of things. And so for the coach, to be able to review before you have a discussion with your client all these aspects of themselves that they may not even have fully recognized. I just think it creates such a framework for moving forward in a very positive way, and really developing that relationship. It's almost intimate what you develop between yourself and the client. Once they've taken the test, they've read the test themselves, you've read it, and now you engage together on it. It's pretty much of an intimate experience right on. And they may have otherwise been a very guarded person in sharing information with you. It's exactly the case with my client I had this morning. After like 7 coaching sessions, I finally got some information from her that she volunteered that had to do with her, that she was in recovery from an addiction. And that's a very important factor.
Yeah.
And if I saw some of that in her core value index, I saw some signs of that in her soft skills, but I didn't bring it up until she did. So that's an example of how individuals, maybe not maliciously, but that maybe inadvertently, will leave out important things. And by engaging in this discussion with these tools, it often gives you a really very clear and broad spectrum picture at of the employee. I'm reading Luann's email. Is it at Ymail or at Gmail?
Ymail.
Ymail, okay.
Cool. Joan says, does this tool also include identification of behaviors?
No, I don't believe it does. I think what it does, well, it comes close to that. It comes close to that, at least the IE does, especially the IE that is the coach's report. It talks about how people sometimes talk too much, or they may, they may need support. They're reluctant to take something head on and things like that. So yeah, I guess the IE does a little more than the CDI. The CDI talks about behaviors, but it talks about really more of a propensity of that type of person to do certain things, especially if it talks about the conflict strategies. So it doesn't talk about specific behaviors, whereas the IE gets pretty specific about what you might expect, like in the career strengths, prefers to operate under controlled circumstances, good at criticizing their own performance, can be calm and composed, good at stabilizing excited people. These are the kinds of responses that you get in an IE report. So I guess, yeah, there is behavioral stuff in there, but it really, in the IE, applies to how they might behave in a work setting rather than, in a personal or social setting.
Absolutely, because the focus is about an employee. It's all about employees. It's not really focused on life. Right. So, very good point. All right. Such good questions. I know I appreciate that very much, you guys. So thanks very much for that. And I don't see any more questions, so I got some thanks. Oh, here we go. Nia says, thank you, Kathleen. This webinar has given me a better understanding of the purpose of these assessments. Awesome.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you. Thank you. Yeah, that's really great news. Super, you know. Appreciate
Well,
that.
I would like you to experience the joy that I felt when I discuss these assessments with people and get their reaction to it. It's really a joyful place to be when people are coming to you because they want to work on themselves, and they now have these value-added tools to look at themselves in a way that they would not have otherwise. So it's really joyful. It's really like a very good good experience.
Nice. All right. Well, it looks like we are out of time, so I'm going to say thank you to everybody for joining us, and it's been a great, revealing experience with you, Kathleen. I'm so glad that everybody was here to learn from your experience, and we'll be posting those videos shortly. So
Great.
in the membership area, check them out. Like I said, click on the member on the main menu, and then you'll see a link to the webinars. I'll have this one posted in there tomorrow. So have a good, yeah. Thank you again, Kathleen.
You're very welcome, and thanks to everybody for joining us. And you know, please take advantage of these tools. I think you'll be more than pleased.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Till next week, you guys. Next week we have a beautiful speaker coming, and Julie Orloff. You'll see it in upcoming webinars, so I'll let you check it out. I'll talk to you next week. Bye now.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.